Geardo time. Everybody always wants to know what's the best holster, what's the best gun, what's the best sight, what's the best blah, blah, blah. An often overlooked thing to be thinking about is a belt. You can have the best holster. Look at that, made to carry's newest of the new. This is their 17 holster. Totally sweet, but if you're using something like this, what good's the fantastic holster as this thing's drooping down to your knees? We need to have a solid platform, not only because you're moving about the world every day, right? In and out of your vehicle, in and out of different spaces and places. It's just downright uncomfortable to have that thing constantly dragging. When we think concealed carry, we need to be concealed, right? So if we're constantly having to manipulate our stuff, something's not right. I will say, this is the foundation of all of our gear, right? We can have the best gun, the best holster, the best ammo, the best sights. We can even be the world's best shooter, but if we don't have a good belt to hold that stuff onto our body, it's all for naught. I've seen guys on the range go to drag their gun out and the whole holster comes out with it. I just undid the clip to get that to happen, but that's not what you want, especially when you need it. In addition to that safety issue, it gets very uncomfortable constantly having to adjust and fix your belt. And there's an issue where you want these things stiff, but you also don't want an iron band around your waist. Saying, what are your thoughts when you're thinking about I need a new belt or I'm picking a belt? What kind of things are you looking for?
It's really going to depend. We were talking about it earlier. It's going to be kind of situational dependent. I'm not going to wear like a rigger's belt or something like a thick nylon scuba mountain climbing belt if I'm wearing a suit. If I'm going to wear a suit, I'm going to look for a leather belt that's got some rigidity to it, and not something that's really flabby and flimsy. We're not trying to telegraph or let people know we're carrying where the gun is hanging out because the belt has no structure. We're looking for the right belt for the job that we're trying to work out.
Which is why we have multiple belts here. This is a belt that I use often, not in a dress setting, but where somebody might need to see my belt, not need to, but maybe I'm tucked in. This is made by Blade Tech, and it's got a Kydex insert. The whole inside of this belt is Kydex. It's getting a little worn, but this is what you get for about $100. This is their Looper belt. Great belt, super durable. This has probably got about 2-3 years of good use on it. But the problem with a belt like this is it's thick, which is why guys love the nylon, which is where our friends at Blue Alpha Gear come in. They've provided us a few of these. They've got a low-cost option, which is a very basic buckle, but a very durable and robust buckle. People love that word these days, robust. They've been making it with the very tried and true Alpen buckle, which costs a good buck, but it's very sturdy and very durable. And they just released, which is fantastic, their new version, their hybrid. And if you notice that, that's the cat's meow right there. The female side actually passes through the belt loop, which if you've ever used one of these, in order to get this thing on and off your pants, you need to break the belt down, which isn't the end of the world. You get used to it. You can do it in a minute or two, but it's kind of a bummer when you got to do it every day and you're in a rush. So, Sang brought up the riggers belts. I see a lot of guys wearing belts and they're very expensive and they're actually built to climbing standards. So you brought up the point of kind of picking for the mission, right? Yeah. You're going to work, you're in your suit and tie. Even if your mission's being a dad at the office, have the right gear. Do I need a belt that can support me in a rappelling situation when I'm at the office? Don't give us the what if bullshit where you tell us, maybe I'm going to rappel today, because if you don't have a climbing harness with you and a rope and your climbing kit and blah, 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 you're probably not going to be rappelling, right? There's plenty of what ifs. So, when we're looking for a belt, we want it to be rigid, right? Rigid, but not too rigid, rigid enough. We want it to be able to be durable and long-lived. We got to make sure, if you guys have ever ordered a holster, you see different clip sizes. What are some common ones?
The most common you're gonna find is the 1.5 inch and then a 1.75.
Okay, so these belts are all 1.5 inches. If you guys ever see a 1.75, those fit pretty tight in most trouser loops. So make sure you measure your belts before you order a holster, or if you're getting a new belt, make sure you know what clips you have on your holster. All of the ones that you see here are set up for that, unless you're looking at like this Blade Tech here. You can adjust this from the widest down to the narrowest on the market, which is handy and kind of makes it easier for them so that they don't need to inventory a ton of different clip mechanisms. There is a chance you and I at some point in our life could be involved in a violent confrontation, right?
Correct.
One of us could become injured. A good belt allows a good drag point. That's not ideal, but it is definitely, if Sang and I are out and about and I had to pick him up, I might grab him by a belt. A weakly or poorly built belt, something like this, it's definitely going to break. Where something like this that's built for that kind of duty use is going to be able to handle that. So back to your point of whether or not the mission dictates it, know what you're getting yourself into. What do you hang on a belt? What kind of stuff is actually attached, like in a concealed carry circumstance? What are you putting on your belt? What do these guys need to think about? Why do you need all that rigidity? What's that?
It's a magazine holster.
So not only are we putting a couple pound gun on there, we're also putting possibly a mag or two onto our belt. And then you see guys that maybe are even clipping more gear onto that belt. And even if this isn't on your belt, your pants have to stay up from all of that good stuff. So you want a good sturdy belt. Our suggestion, there's so much good stuff out there. Blue Alpha Gear's been super kind to provide us some of their belts. They make a good product. I've been wearing one for months since they started last year. Sang's got one. We've got a couple here. We've been testing them. They haven't yet failed. Occasionally the leather belt. I don't always like looking Johnny Tactical. If you guys have followed us, he likes to look like a ninja stormtrooper, and I kind of want to be like soccer mom. Soccer mom.
That's
so
the right title.
This is Mickey Schuch with CarryTrainer.com. I appreciate you watching. Subscribe, pass this stuff on to your friends. If you guys have any questions on any of this, or there's something that's been puzzling you, send us an email. We'd love to answer. Maybe we'll do a video on it. And there's an issue where you want these things stiff, but you also don't want an iron band around your waist like when Sang was a little boy and he had to wear the chastity belt. That thing was tight and it hurt him, he said. Yep. Then I found you and I used my blacksmith skills and I got that chastity belt off of you.
And I love you for that.
Yes.